Joining us on the line now, a friend of mine for a long time now, many years, conservative commentator, author, all-around smart person, Ann Coulter. Ann, how are you this afternoon?
I'm feeling great. And you?
I'm dodging coronavirus, apparently. At least that's what I see on the news around the clock these days.
As I told you off air, I think we all always had coronavirus. Since everyone who gets tested, or not everyone, but 50% of the people getting tested seem to have it. I want to know if they then go on to show any symptoms. If they're like young, healthy athletes like Utah Jazz guys, are they home sneezing, vomiting with diarrhea, or are they just going about their business having found out they tested positive? It looks like it could be very contagious for a long time, but symptomless in most people unless you're old or sick.
Yeah, and here in Alabama we just got our first case of it today, at least officially reported case of it. There's a lot of fear in the system, it seems like to me, and it's hard to really pinpoint. Is it all of this necessary? All this calamity necessary? Send everybody into a panic? Do we really need to take it that far? I don't know one way or another, but I always err on the side of suspicion when it comes to the media and our political class.
Well, that's the problem, that we can't trust these people. I don't trust the CDC. I don't trust WHO. I definitely don't trust the media, and I'm on your side, though I'll err on the side of caution. So I'm sort of in favor of this. Okay, shut everything down for 2 weeks. That'll kill it. I mean, it'll be a complete pain. It will ruin everyone's plans. Weddings, funerals, Madison Square Garden, Broadway. It'll suck for 2 weeks, but I don't really mind that we're doing this. But separate from that, it does really annoy me that I can't trust our own CDC, which lied to us about Ebola. Remember that? It was only because it was basically the right wing panicking over Ebola. Ebola has a 50% death rate. They're letting in Ebola patients, something that there is no reason to be any place in this country. Anyway, let's get to the huge news today. The most important, definitely the smartest political organization in America, the National Rifle Association. I have a tribute to them in Adios America. They do things right. They care about gun rights, and they protect them properly. And they have given their big endorsement to the one you better be voting for, Alabama, Jeff Sessions. So
you're a little suspicious of the Tommy Tuberville candidacy, if I'm not mistaken.
With open borders. And, Alabama, I know you love Trump. I do, or did, too. I wrote in Trump We Trust. I mean, he was the only hope we've had in a long time. And certainly compared to what he's up against right now, he's our only hope. But he's not running his presidency. Jared Kushner is. You didn't vote for Jared Kushner. And time after time after time, Trump endorses the open borders guy. As he did in that genius Jared move, endorsing Luther Strange over Mo Brooks, and you ended up with Democrat Doug Jones. You're going to do it to us again, Alabama. Do not screw up. Please vote for Jeff Sessions. Obviously, I think bad things will happen to this country if Trump loses the presidential election. Yet and still, if it happens, the one thing that will assuage my depression on election night, if it were to happen, and I hope it doesn't, is how he has treated Jeff Sessions. I've known people like this in my life, and it's just absolutely disgusting. Trump screws up. Where did the Russia thing come from? Well, Hillary Clinton, but it was genius Jared Kushner meeting with all these Russian guys and the Russian gal. That was what got the whole Russia ball rolling. Then it was Trump himself who decided to go on Lester Holt after he had worked out this coordinated thing where James Comey gets fired because of his bad job and because of his screwing with the election. With Hillary is investigated, she's not being investigated, we've reinstated the investigation. Comes up with this great letter, puts it out there, and then Trump goes on Lester Holt and says, no, firing Comey was my idea. Yeah, and I did it because of Russia. So the entire Russia investigation, the entire independent counsel investigation was 100% Trump's fault. But he has to come up with a fall guy, Jeff Sessions, who absolutely 100% had to recuse himself. Not from Russia per se, but from anything having to do with the campaign. That's what he recused himself from. That's what was being investigated. Nobody knew, he should have told me, nobody knew that Democrats were going to come up with this crazy Russia conspiracy theory when Sessions was appointed Attorney General. Jeff Sessions didn't know any more than Donald Trump or Golden Boy Jared Kushner did. So, there's nothing to tell him then. Trump screws up, gets himself in this idiotic Russia mess, and then blames Sessions for it. I mean, it's just outrageous. He acts like Mr. Tough Guy, never fires anybody. He fires people on The Apprentice. In real life, he just humiliates them on Twitter. He should have just gone ahead. If you don't like Sessions, then fire him. You're the president.
Well, I think a lot of people look at Sessions and they say, Loretta Lynch and Ann Coulter played by a set of rules. Jeff Sessions is not playing by those set of rules. And we continue, when I say we, I mean the collective we as the right, continue to get clobbered by the left, the institutional left, and the people, they play by a set of rules and we play by a set of rules. And at least some of the voters in Alabama, they're just kind of fed up with that. That
well,
situation.
I agree with that, but in that case, I would advise them not to vote for Donald Trump. Do you think a Democrat president would allow district court judges to run his immigration policy? Give me a break. The one person in the government we expect to step forth and violate rules on the books and of how a lawyer should behave? No, only Jeff Sessions has to do it, not Trump. Not Trump to keep his number one campaign promise to the people. No, he gets pushed around by the district courts. Oh, you say I can't build a wall? Okay. He's the commander-in-chief. Build the wall. If you want somebody to... That's not even, playing by sleazy Democrat rules. He's just a little girl in a pink party dress. He won't even do the things he should be doing under the Constitution. Oh, but Sessions should violate long-standing conflict of interest rules because we're tired of Democrats getting away with stuff we can't get away with. Only Jeff Sessions in the entire government. Also, as long as we're speaking of sentences that begin, only Jeff Sessions in the entire government. Only Jeff Sessions in the entire government was keeping Trump's promises on immigration. Not President Trump with idiot boy Jared running everything. Oh, no. In fact, right now, Jared's working on a new amnesty, because that's right in line what we voted for.
Well, the inner workings of the White House are what they are, and Donald Trump, I don't even know. Sometimes he's as plugged in as we would like him to be. But let me ask you like this. Another component to this, the Tommy Tuberville versus Jeff Sessions thing, is Jeff Sessions was in the United States Senate for 20 years. It is such an outsider environment right now. That is really playing to Tommy Tuberville's favor right now, and Jeff Sessions seems to have lost.
Alabama, just go ahead and run Roy Moore again. I promise you. Oh my gosh, the media, they want that seat. They're going to find a football coach. You don't think they can't come up with a scandal? I go in for 6 seconds on Wikipedia and find out he was sued by investors in some hedge fund he was running or associated with for defrauding them of $1.7 million. He has to settle with them. How about right there on Wikipedia? I promise you the media is dying for it to be Tuberville. They will come up with something in October. It'll be, who knows, it could be, some sexual thing. It could be a financial thing. This is what the media does. They did it to Roy Moore. They did it to Mark Foley in Florida. You remember that, Jeff Bohr. Your listeners may not.
I remember.
Long-standing Republican congressman, ABC News for years. And by the way, it was nothing like what Democrat congressmen get caught doing. He's gay. He's sending these sort of lascivious emails and texts to underage pages. No touching. Nothing like that is involved. It was like the Roger Ailes thing. It's all words. But anyway, ABC knows this. Like 8 months before the election, they wait until the day after Florida Republicans can take Mark Foley's name off the off the vote, and they announce this huge scandal and go wild with it. Same thing with Jack Ryan in Illinois. We never would have had to face Barack Obama, this magnificent candidate. Jack Ryan is running against Barack Obama for the Senate. I wrote about it in my book. I think it's guilty. And Ryan was, boy, talk about, how what a Republican scandal is versus a Democrat scandal. Ryan was accused of sexually propositioning his wife and then taking no for an answer. In divorce papers, and as I always say, this is why there is not an expression as true as something said in a divorce filing. In divorce papers, it was actually custody papers over their kid. Filed under seal, his ex-wife claimed he took her to, avant-garde, very, very sexual clubs in Paris and I think New Orleans. She went in and, oh no, I'm not going to have sex in public like this. And he immediately, his response at the time, even when it was all under seal, was, this is absolutely false. We both walked into this club together. We saw what it was like, turned around and walked out. Those allegations come out when he's a magnificent, magnificent human being, totally would have beaten Barack Obama. And Illinois Republicans say, oh, we can't run you. That's when Alan Keyes stepped in. This has happened over and over and over again. Do not imagine there will not be, fake or not, some media scandal against Tuberville. You're not going to have that against Jeff Sessions.
Well, and you see, the idea is they're holding it until after the runoff, and it'll be Roy Moore 2.0 because the media, they're waiting to help out Doug Jones. But the one thing Alabama has that's going to be tough for Doug Jones to win re-election is that straight ticket. Donald Trump at the top of the ballot does, even if they pull an October surprise type scenario or whatever it is, then, it could, whoever's at the top of the ticket's still going to be enough, have coattails for whoever the Republican nominee is to win, I would think.
Would it have been enough for Roy Moore? I don't think so.
He still only lost by 1%. He still only lost by a percentage point in 17.
And now Doug Jones is an incumbent. It's very hard to dislodge incumbents, and the Democrats want that seat. That's how they get the Senate. They want that seat. Plus, which, even apart from that, I think it's insane to be running a former college football coach who has not been vetted, who has not run before, and who is, now let's get to the issues, open borders. So, okay, for all of you cheap labor devotees who are going to destroy your state and destroy your country, okay, maybe Tuberville's for you, but I think the reason Trump was so popular and the reason you love Trump is that he was alone among Republicans in saying, let's put America first. Tuberville doesn't. Most Republicans don't. Only Jeff Sessions does. He was the only one. He was the Jesse Helms to Trump's Ronald Reagan. He's the one who saved this country from being overwhelmed with immigration for 20 years before Trump ever came along. That's why he was the only U.S. senator for a long time, and one of the few, even in the end, to endorse Donald Trump. He was the first major politician. That was early. Remember, of course, you people do. He did it in Alabama. That was still 2015. For that loyalty, this is how Trump rewards him? Yeah, okay, it'll be sad if Trump loses, but I'm just going to sit back and think of how he treated Sessions. Last
question before I let you go. Mo Brooks, you still on the Mo Brooks for president bandwagon?
Well, not for president. Thanks to idiot boy Jared, Trump endorsed Luther Strange instead of Mo Brooks, and you ended up with Roy Moore. So, maybe at some point you should stop believing Jared Kushner's endorsements. But yeah, I wanted him. If Sessions wasn't going to run, I was 100% for Mo Brooks in the House. There are very few Republicans in all of Washington who care about you, Alabamians. They care about big multinational corporations who want ever more cheap labor, which will be subsidized by you, middle and working class Alabamians. They'll take your jobs, and your taxes will be used to subsidize their housing, their food, their kids going to school, their English as a second language classes. Hope you don't mind, because this thin slice of the uber rich, don't have enough going for them in this country. They are supported by 100% of the Democratic Party and 90% of the Republican Party, and those few Republicans who actually do want to put America first include the great Mo Brooks and the great Jeff Sessions.
And we got to leave it there, but thank you. Thank you for making time for us today.
Thank you. Good to talk to you, Jeff Porg. Go Jeff Sessions.
All right, we'll do it again sometime. Thanks for joining us. That was the one and only Ann Coulter here on the Jeff Porg Show.